And good morning is 7:04 on this Thursday, June 27th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Thursday morning. We're glad to have you with us and glad to be on the air for Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road in Lebanon, the dealer that will trade for anything you don't eat. We want to welcome Paul Tubbs this morning, General Manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
You've been doing a lot. We'll get to it in a moment. Ronnie Kelly is here in sales at Bates Ford. Good morning, Ronnie.
Good morning.
The boss has been gone a time or two. In fact, he missed one time here. Was it last week or week before?
I think it was last week.
All right. Anyway, well, you've been doing a little baseball.
Yeah, both my boys have been playing. Brody traveled South Carolina. Braden's been playing Lebanon All-Stars. And then I'm trying to watch Tennessee win it all in between. I know that made you very happy. So,
well, I'm really happy for your son. The youngest one is a catcher, right?
Yeah, and that 11U All-Star team, they finished second in the state. Actually, we beat Goulitsville last year in bracket play, and they came back and beat us in the championship twice. So they finished second in the state last year. They went, and Gallatin had a pretty tough team in the District 2 is what we're in, and we ended up winning it. Well, we actually won the first two games, which I was kind of surprised. It was supposed to be a best 2 out of 3, and we won the first 2 and headed to Columbia July 5th for the state championship.
So you're not through?
No, they're moving on.
All right, that's great. Well, you're not through at Bates Ford either, but you're getting there.
No, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of inventory. We got a big group of what we do is demos that we put in service for our customers, loaner vehicles. Basically, they're a Ford courtesy transportation program. What we do is we put them in there, and we put about 3,000 miles. We pull them out. You get the same warranty. What Ford does is extend the warranty for 6 months and 6,000 miles. And right now, them vehicles are at invoice, plus you get the loaner transportation funds, which is an additional $2,500. My niece bought an Edge last week out of that program because I was telling her about it. She got it at invoice. Then she got the $2,500 of loaner funds off of the car. Plus there was a $2,000 rebate and 0% interest for 60 months. So she got $4,500 off of a brand new car at invoice, plus 0% interest at 60 months. So, that's a great deal. You don't find that going on a lot right now.
Well, I believe it. And Ronnie, I'm sure you welcome that.
Oh, yes, I welcome that deal. I welcome it so much. I tried to get my wife to do one of those, and the price was right, and she went with an Explorer. And I was going to save a whole lot of money, but we also saved a lot of money on Explorer. So,
yeah.
We had some great interest rates, 3.9 for 60 months. That's great. And if you go to a bank or something, it's going to be probably 8%. So we got a lot of automobiles with great rates and also incentives. I mean, we got like $1,500 rebate on some, and sometimes it's more than that. So we got several vehicles that right now that's going for great prices. So if you want to come down to Bates Ford and talk to one of our friendly sales staffs, we'll take care of you.
And you still love that phrase, first on race day.
That's right, first on race day.
Well, while the boss is away, y'all took care of things.
Well, we took care of things, and he still peeped in and tried to make sure everything was going good. So he had to do that every now and then.
I don't think Paul can stay away for too long. You're the manager. You're in charge, but you got some good people, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little family there. We've got great people. We've got people in the office staff that's been there for several years and great. We got people in the shop, technicians. Some's been there close to 30 years. Ronnie, myself, we've got Mike and people up front. Tommy Shorter came back. He was there for several years. So we've got a big staff of people, and it's kind of like a little family, and we just try to get things done and do what's right.
We're still changing oil for a lot of people, and got a great price on that.
Yep, $39.95. We do them all day long. No appointment necessary. We do oil changes on first come, first served basis. We've got our pickup and delivery service where, if you can't bring it to us, we'll certainly come get it. You call Shelly in service department, and Shelly Billy, she'll send somebody. She'll get you on the schedule. and send somebody to get it. We'll service it and bring it right back to you. We've got a great deal. I've had several people on tires. We've got a tire special going on right now. We several sets of tires that's got up to $100 rebates. You've also get free rotation when you buy a set of tires. Ford will meet or beat anybody's price on tires. And as you know, my batteries, $179.95. They got the best warranty in the market, 3 year free replacement, and then they got a 100-month proration. So if you'll give us a call, we'll be happy to do whatever we can do to help you.
Well, there are just a lot of reasons to depend on Bates Ford, and Ronnie Kelly is another one because third generation people come back. You have grandchildren that come
got grandchildren come to see me. Got one going to be back pretty soon when he get because he's about ready to graduate, and I know we're going to take care of business.
You still love the F-150.
F-150, and we got some great rates on those also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well. Paul, we wish your team continued success, and glad you can take care of that and take care of Bates Ford all at the same time.
Yeah, I looked at the bracket yesterday. We got our hands full. First game, Nolansville. Oh. And they've been to the Little League World Series several years and stuff. So, but this Lebanon team is a good team. They got some good ball players, so we look forward to the challenge.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
All right, thank you.
Well, actually, we won't. Next week's the 4th.
Yeah, I forgot it is the 4th.
See you in 2 weeks.
We can come if you like to come.
We'll do a little celebrating our country's birthday. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road, Lebanon, Tennessee. They are the dealer to trade for anything that don't eat. And we're 10 minutes after the hour. Jason Baird is our fire chief for the city of Lebanon. He's right here with us this morning. Jason, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you, and it was just always nice to follow these guys here. And most of the times when you come out here, it's on Thursday, and it's I know whether I can actually declare you a regular or not, but you're almost a regular anyway. There's very few months that we miss having you, and I've got to know a whole lot more about the fire department and really a lot more about you too, since you've taken over as fire chief and been coming to visit with us. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate your visits and the information that you give us. So what's going on today?
Well, I pulled the numbers yesterday, and it looks like we're about somewhere close to 400, almost 500 calls. So it looks like this calendar year will see an increase of about 1,000 calls for service. That's how I kind of manage the growth is by call volume, call types, and those type things. And it looks like, and it's all about, if I want to keep providing the same level of service that we provide right now, then I have to adjust for that amount of call volume. And 1,000 calls that's a large increase. You look at running somewhere between 25, 26 calls a month, and providing the same service is one big part of it, because we want the level of service we carry out in City of Lebanon is very, very high. But it's also one of the biggest things for me is managing the workload on our employees. When you look at adding that many more calls to a calendar year with a workforce that we did adjust some this past fiscal year, and we'll be adjusting some this fiscal year with more manpower. I have to try to work through the process of lessening the load on the personnel as far as how many type calls they'll see in a day's time. And, I've said it before, we run a 24-48 schedule, but our call volume's got to the point now where you basically, the next day off is a recoup day of trying to get back on your feet, and because you didn't get to sleep a lot the night before. And, back in the day, everybody had a second job. It didn't really affect the second job back, that's been a long time ago, but now for sure, through the night, we'll have 10 calls or so through the night a lot of times. So average call lasts about 45 minutes. So you don't really go back to the station, go back to sleep. You just kind of sit and wait for the next call. But we're seeing a large increase, and there's nothing out there that tells us that we won't continue to see that type of increase in calls.
Being a fireman today is a lot more involved, it seems, than it was 25, 30 years ago.
It is. And, and I think I've said this on the radio here before, but to put it in perspective, I run the data, for a calendar year when we get our insurance rates, when they're determined what our ISO rating is. And that's depending upon how quick our response time is, the type of equipment, our staffing, all those type things. And so the calendar year when I did it, where our average response time was about 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes, 45 seconds, something like that. So you have to put it from the perspective, they could be from a dead sleep and then being on scene within 4 minutes and 45 seconds, it could be doing chest compressions within that next 10 to 15 seconds after assessment. So that's a whole different ballgame. And the types of calls, it's funny because the types of calls we run in the summertime is a lot different than we run in the wintertime. Summertime, for instance, last weekend we had 3 drowning calls, and all 3 turned out with a very good outcome. But our initial dispatch information for all 3 was drowning, and one was an older male, and the other one were children. And so when you see that dispatch information come out, we send multiple units in that scenario to try to affect if we have to get in the water and all those type things. But all three occasions turned out well for the patient, and it wasn't underwater long, but they all had been underwater. But all 3, once we got there, breathing was established and everything worked out good. So those type calls obviously are a lot more in summertime. All heat-related incidents, and we have a huge increase in car fires and things like that in the summertime too. We've probably had, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8 to 9 car fires a week. And yesterday we actually had one of those big commercial scrapers, one of those earth movers, and it burned up pretty much as a steel piece of equipment can anyway, the engine compartment and the cab out at 109 right there at Genesco. So we just have a lot of those type things in the summertime. And another piece of information I can give you that we follow up really close on is we've determined by the data, if you're westbound on I-40 right before the Highway 109 exit, if you're westbound, there's a spot right in that area that holds water. And we turned it into the state a year or so ago, maybe a little longer than that. They came out, they added some asphalt and did some different things. And it got better for a little while, but the data is now reflecting now. And I'll be honest with you, when the first raindrop hits, we start preparing for a wreck on I-40. I mean, that's how common it is. And so that spot now is beginning the process of happening again. So the last big rain we had, our Assistant Chief Nick McCorkle called the state contact. He actually physically came on site and took a look at it while water was standing and things like that. So we're on top of those type things depending upon what the data tells us. But that one spot right there, if it starts raining and you're headed down I-40 on westbound at Highway 109, you need to seek caution right there, because it's been a spot that's created a lot of difficulty for us.
All right, well, everybody keep that in mind, and keep in mind that we'll be back after we go to a break. Stay with us for more here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed in most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's cranking up pretty good out here now with that volume on 24 westbound coming out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, passing 840, headed towards Davidson County. They had a car up against a wall a few minutes ago in a tricky spot there in Hermitage, 40 westbound, right near Stewart's Ferry Pike, as traffic really picks up in that area as that traffic flows in right now from Wilson County. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. You got to check them out at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford. Have I got some exciting news for you? Bates Ford's moved into our new location at 1780 Franklin Road. That's right, Bates Ford's at 1780 Franklin Road, just off Hartman Drive and Interstate 40. We've got a much larger selection of vehicles to choose from, a state-of-the-art double-sized service department. So come see us at 1780 Franklin Road. That's Bates Ford, 615-444-8221. Bates Ford, the dealer will trade for anything that don't eat.
A.G. & Johnson is your experienced real estate and auction company, specializing in residential, commercial, and personal property auctions. Did you know that auctions are a fast and efficient way to sell your property? Auctions reduce time on the market and have an exact selling date. Call us for an in-home consultation today at 615-444-0909. A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main Street in Lebanon, or find us online at agandjohnson.com. Voted best auction company in Wilson County.
We continue here on this Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Jason Baird is the fire chief for the city of Lebanon, and we'll continue to talk about fighting fires, and whether it be in your car on the interstate or a wreck caused by water close to 109, but that's going to get better.
It is going to get better. We had a representative that came almost immediately while rain was still falling and took a look at it. And we have to trust the fact the last time we did this, they acted on it. And I really think that they will this time too, just because the data reflects that we do have a problem right there. As far as firefighting, we have had some fires, lots of car fires, equipment fires, and we had a structure fire a couple weeks ago, and it was a little unique for us. It was a little different. It was had a quick response time, had a lot of guys on the scene early on, but it's one of those type calls that all the neighbors tell us, hey, if this vehicle's in the driveway, then that homeowner's there. And, that happens a lot. But this time was a little different. Once I arrived on scene and the shift commander arrived on scene and our first units in suppression was on scene, there was a lot of indicators that said that the homeowner was in the home. We had smoke coming out of pretty much every area it could come out of. And fire is pretty simple: heat, fuel, and oxygen. You remove one of the three, and the fire's going to go out. Well, it looked like it had the heat and it had the fuel, but it looked like it was starving for oxygen. So that's a dangerous fire for us, because when we make entry, we provide oxygen for the fire, and then that will create a corridor for the fire to generate. But this fire, it just felt like that homeowner was in there, and so. This day and time, when everybody has a camera, and a video and a phone and those type things, there's sometimes we have fires. We have to make decision on the types of resources we have. Are we going to be better off extinguishing the fire and then searching, or containing the fire, getting containment, not extinguish it, but put all our resources towards searching the home? And we immediately, after we made initial entry. The initial entry, we came right upon a dog that was deceased, did not make it. We had to remove that homeowner's pet, and then we go back with entry, and we realized pretty quick that this thing is got to jump on us. The home kind of set off the road, so nobody could see it really after it was kind of got pretty involved, and based on the homeowners, on the neighbors. What we decided to do, we kind of got containment. It kind of burnt through the roof and through the ceiling, through the roof. And when that happens, you almost get kind of like a chimney effect. It will localize the fire, and it'll stay there. We got a knockdown on it pretty quick, but we didn't extinguish it. But we put firefighters in every single window of that home, every single window. And I don't know, and I honestly felt like the homeowner was there. And when the command officers you can kind of see it on their face, and you can tell by their actions that this fire's a little different based on the decisions being made. So somebody with a camera would have seen us, a fire still raging, but wasn't putting any water on it. All our resources were going towards searching. And we spent a lot of time searching that home, and we found another pet, another dog. And when we got that dog out, it was breathing barely. Wilson EMA, Wilson County Emergency Management started working, their medics and the EMT started working on the dog. And about 30 minutes after we got the dog out, I actually looked over and seen the dog stand up. So they were able to save that pet. So, but when it come out of the home, I didn't think there was any way it was going to. But we start, basically the command personnel are going to each window, and I'm talking to the search teams. Have you searched everything? And, are you 100%? And those type things. It just kind of puts an edge on the scene. And, he ended up not being in the home, and thank goodness. But what we do, we just was convinced that he was probably going to be in there. So we finally got a cell number, and we placed people in almost every room we could, and had dispatch call the cell phone, and we was going to see if we could hear it. And we did not, and he actually answered it. He was actually in another place in Wilson County. So, but those type fires, even though we don't find someone, you never forget that fire, because there's just a feeling of the neighbors should know based on the vehicles that are there if their homeowner's home or not. And so we spent a lot of time searching that home, and just had an uneasy feeling. And you're just kind of, it's everybody on that fire scene knows the thoughts without anything being said.
Yeah.
And that was coming through command about the firefighting tactics. The firefighters know what the commander's saying without saying it, and we're careful about what we say on the radio and those type things. But I'm just thankful he wasn't in the home, and they saved the one pet, and it was a pretty bad fire. It actually was, and we went to full extinguishment right after that, and our investigators come in and start their job. But it was one of those you just never forget, just because of the gut feeling you had on scene. And
what about is the house, the home total loss?
About probably 50%, I would think. It was unique the way the setup was. The house was kind of turned sideways to the road, and so it had some challenges to it for us. It got a huge jump on us, and based on we had a gate across the property coming in, and we had to navigate through that. And and to be completely honest with you, they ended up driving through it. It was just a kind of a homemade kind of thing, and I'm talking to everybody after it's over with, and the engine that made first entry was engine number 3 from Station 3. And the officer on that engine said, well, Chief said that 3's on that rig for a reason. And so he was relating it back to Dale Earnhardt. And but everything worked great. Our firefighters really dug in on this. They took a massive amount of heat. In that scenario, when we're not flowing water and they're just searching, they are taking a lot of heat, a lot, especially because you basically search from the burnt to the unburnt. And this home just had a lot of things in it, and but we probably 50% we got him set up with Red Cross, and as soon as they got there, they took their animal to the vet. That animal made it, and so it ended up with an outcome that was, for us, from a firefighting perspective, it was somewhat successful because of the things we were doing. But it's just, you have these different type calls, and I had to prepare myself. Hey, if somebody's videoing this, they're going to see a fire going, and firefighters are not spraying water. And it was because all of our resources were put towards the search. And Nashville Metro Fire had this years ago with a nursing home, and they chose to not fight the fire and evacuate patients. I think they lost 6 or 7 patients, or 6 or 7 occupants of that nursing home, and Metro Fire took a beating on their decision. And until you're there, you don't know how to affect that. Yeah. And they honestly thought they to do it over, they'd probably do the same thing again. And and what was unfortunate about that fire is one of the captains that was actually on scene of that fire's mother was in that nursing home, and she did perish in that fire. So it was just, as a firefighter, depending upon, a lot of things with this scenario, it depends on where the location of the fire, as far as where it's at in the city. I may get one unit there within 5 minutes, but my next unit could be 10 to 15 minutes away. So you've got to make a decision on how much are we going to risk, depending upon what the scene is telling us. And that was one that was a little different, that will, even though we didn't have someone, but all the men will remember that fire just because of the different tactics that were taken.
All right, we got about a couple of minutes left. Jason Baird, our fire chief, is here. Next Thursday is July the 4th. What's that going to be like for you and for the fire department?
Well, the rain helped. We need more rain. We have the fireworks show will go off at the fairgrounds as usual. We have a lot of planning in that. Planning starts about 6 months before that event even happens. As of right now, we're still go with everything. It looks like if we can have another rain, that will help, because it had gotten very dry. We hadn't had any grass fires yet, and but we were sure reaching that point. And usually when it starts getting really dry, the first thing that happens is we start having mulch fires. And that had not happened yet. So we just hope for another rain and hope for, everybody to be safe. And, I've got some friends that have had some injuries with fireworks. So you have to be careful and watch our little ones and things from that scenario. And
do your people, are you the ones that set this up, or is that how does all that work?
We do. They present the plan. We tweak it to what it fits our needs. And then we turn it back to them, and then as far as the city's fireworks, and then they adjust to what we need. Now, our inspectors and our investigators go out and inspect every single fireworks tent, location, proximity with fire extinguishers, all those things. They can't open unless we inspect them. So there's a fire department's involved and we inspect when they leave. So we're involved very deeply, heavily in the fireworks industry as far as that goes.
Well, we have our public show out there, of course, on around 9 o'clock on July the 4th, but there are fireworks stands all around and a lot of fireworks. It's quite a business here for a few days.
It is. I'll be honest with you. Even have some firefighters that have a stand, and it's tough. Last year we had some really bad weather come through during the process of selling fireworks and had some tents collapse and some things like that. But it is a money-making business. And, we very seldom do we not have a call of, maybe one that's landed on a roof and we have some shingles smoking or something. Mm-hmm. And we always have fireworks-related calls, usually a dumpster, or something like that. And but it does increase our call volume every single year for that window of time.
Well, I hope you have a happy and safe 4th, and y'all can enjoy yourself, even those who are on duty, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, sir.
Fire Chief Jason Baird, and that's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more, and hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. Absolute Kubota has a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator, plus 0% financing going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's got a little bit heavy here the last few minutes. 65 southbound there at Trinity Lane, working your way down from the north. Had that car up against the wall a few minutes ago on 40 going westbound. There in Hermitage right near Stewart's Ferry. It's already busy through there right now. You got all that traffic coming in from Wilson County arriving there in the Hermitage on 40 going west. Starting to build even more now. 24 coming in from Murfreesboro towards Nashville. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane & Crowell. At the offices of Kane & Crowell, we understand the complexities that come with family law matters. Whether you're going through a divorce, working through child custody or support matters, or needing a will or trust drafted to protect your family assets for future generations. Kane & Crowell, 615-784-4800. Your local leaders in family law matters.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
We'll have mostly sunny skies today with afternoon highs in the upper 80s. Clear tonight, lows in the mid 60s. And sunny and hot again for Friday. We'll be back in the middle 90s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
We continue here on a Thursday morning. Welcome to part 2 of Coleman and Company. We welcome our friends, 2 of them at least. There are a lot of friends over at A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, but Jay White's here and Helene Singer Cash is here this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good morning.
And, of course, A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main in Lebanon, www.agandjohnson.com, and at phone number 615-444-0909. Well, Jay, get us started. You got an auction to talk about.
We do, Coleman, we do. This Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on June the 29th, we're going to be out on Ramsey Lane, just east of town here. We're selling a beautiful 40-acre tract of land out there in six acreage tracts out there. We've got something, and we've got ranges from from 2 acres all the way up to 9 acres. Got a beautiful, spacious brick home out there on it, a three bedroom, 2.5 bath, just a nice home, little nice brick home out there. This property is, it has some nice barns and some great improvements out there. Just a beautiful open tract of land in a great location. Tucker's Crossroads, I guess Tucker's Crossroads Elementary, Lebanon High School, or is it Watertown out there? I believe it's Lebanon. It's Watertown, isn't it?
It is
Watertown High School out there. So you got Tucker's Crossroads, Watertown, the new Watertown High School. Got a lot of things going for it. We've also got a great selection of personal property. If you're looking for any farming implements, we've got a nice John Deere tractor out there with a loader on it, 4-wheel drive. There's some nice gardening tools to go along with it. If you're into small animals like goats and sheep and those sort of things, we have a lot of handling equipment for those type of animals that we're also going to be selling. So come out and be with us Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We'll plan on being there quite a while. We've got lots of nice things out there to sell in a great farm and in a great location out there. And then the next Saturday, out on Canesville Road, we'll be out there. We've got 105 acres out in the Noreen area that we're going to be selling. It's mainly open, got some wooded areas on it, but if you're looking for some nice tracts of land, we'll talk about that a little more next week. We got a great some great acreage tracts out there to sell. So this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, come out and be with us on Ramsey Road.
Okay, Helene, it's your turn.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good morning.
We're always talking about real estate and opportunities. So if you are looking to sell, if you want to sell, if you're thinking about selling, you can give us a call. But I have 2 listings to talk about. Both are in Lebanon. The first one is in West End Heights. If you don't know this already, Coleman, West End Heights was the first subdivision in Lebanon.
I remember when it opened up.
Oh, well. Thank you for that. So this is in West End Heights, highly desirable neighborhood. Not a lot of opportunity for homes to come available in West End Heights. So this one is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and it's a larger home. It's just about 2,800 square feet. So if you would like to take a look at that, you can give us a call at the office at 615-444-0909. So that's a rare opportunity back over, tucked in there, right there in the middle of town on West End Heights. But there's also a listing over on the west side of town on West Main Street. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,400 square foot home. It's built in 1965. It's a large home. It's just a beautiful, stately home over on West Main, but over on the west side of town. Mm-hmm. That's a great opportunity out there. So we have some listings, but we're always looking for more. So if you're considering selling, it's a great time. A lot of people coming into town over the 4th of July weekend. So we still have time to get your house on the market if you've been getting it ready and, cleaning up your front yard. Everything's blooming and beautiful, especially with the rain we had yesterday. So.
And of course, Jay loves auctions. Everybody at A.G. & Johnson is not as thrilled with an auction maybe as he is. I mean, you can do it. You do it both ways.
We do. We do a traditional listing or an auction, but give us a call. We can come out and talk to you and figure out which is the best opportunity for you, because not everyone is geared towards a traditional listing and not every listing is geared towards an auction. There's an opportunity for you either way, and we talk through the process with you to find out which one is best suited for your needs.
And it's good to be able to do it both ways, isn't it, Jay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Anything you want to say before you leave?
I will say this. On Saturday morning, we're selling the 40 acres in the house, and it will sell at 10 o'clock with the personal property after that. We'll sell the property at 10.
And next Thursday, being July 4th, we will not be here. We will not broadcast. So we get the day off. So we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Well, I appreciate the day off.
Thank you, Coleman.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Thank you for giving me the day off. I appreciate that.
Right. y'all keep on keeping on. Thank you so much. A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main. And you'll find them on the website, www.agandjohnson.com. Okay, I want to welcome Stephen Goodall this morning, who is our assessor of property, the incumbent, and he is running for re-election. We had his Democrat nominee opponent yesterday. He is here today. And Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to have you with us. And why don't you just do what we always do? On my political interviews, I try to let the person I'm talking to tell us a little bit about themselves, what you'd like people to know about you, your family. And let me say this, if I could offer this. You lost your mother recently.
Yes, sir.
Very sorry for you, and I'd like to express my sympathy here this morning. I didn't know her much, but I've known your father for a long time, and known you, and just to mention that. But tell us about Stephen Goodall.
I was born and raised in Wilson County. Married to Brandy, my wife. She's a travel manager at Wilson Bank and Trust. My son Crockett, he's 20. He works for Aflac, and kind of what you used to do. He works under Kelsey Everett and Tim Chappell. My daughter is 16, Annabella. She goes to Watertown High School. Just started. She just got her driver's license, and she's driving now, so that's something else to worry about. I've been. You mentioned my mother. I appreciate you mentioning that. My dad. They were married 51 years. And this will be the first election that she's never voted for me, and that's kind of tough. But she had a good life, and she treated us nice. And I'm sad she's gone, but I'm also okay with it because I know there's people out there who didn't have the luxury of having a good mom, and for that long, and I'm okay with that. But just a little about me. I've been in government 19 years. I'm finishing up my 8th year as the assessor, prior law enforcement at the sheriff's office. I just like serving Wilson County and taking care of people's property values and making sure that they're correctly put on. That means a lot to me because that affects everyone else. And it's an important job, and I'm just trying to do the best I can, and
Well, you've had 8 years, two terms, and you.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like you still have a job that's not totally finished? You more things that you want to do as property assessor?
Well, since I've been in office, we've had tremendous growth in Wilson County. Everybody knows. As assessor, I always tell people I'm not responsible for the growth. We just have to respond to it. And the parcel count when I took over was 52,000 or so, and now it's over 70,000 just in that short amount of time. And people always ask me, what do you do? What is your main focus? And the job as the assessor, you're supposed to locate, discover, and record all properties in Wilson County. And I have a goal as the assessor, to always accurately identify these properties and add them to the tax roll as fast as I can and correctly as possible. And because the faster you get them on the tax roll, the fairer it is for everyone. And and over the years, I have a great staff that is always willing to help me and help the public. I couldn't do it by myself. I run for office, but I give them the credit, okay? Because when you first walk in there 8 years ago, I had an idea of what I was going to do, but now that I'm in there, they help me along the way, and now I know what to do, of course. But I'm just very proud of the office. They're very knowledgeable. They're capable of serving the public, and we are very busy. And the numbers kind of show for themselves, but how good and efficient we are. My office has brought in growth money every year, and as you know, the growth money is extremely important for funding other areas of Wilson County government, whether that is for equipment, supplies, or even raises for employees. And by us going out there and adding these new properties to the tax roll, or during our review cycle picking up stuff that's added over the years, that just brings in more growth money for other offices to use. So even though we're out there doing the job, sometimes we don't even see that money. It's for everyone else, and that's what kind of makes me happy when other offices can use that money.
What do you consider the issues? There are two of you who will be on the ballot. Okay. You're the Republican nominee, and your Democratic opponent will be there. This is a general election. Election day is Thursday, August the 1st, so many weeks from today, and early voting, the 12th or something like that of July for a period of time. But people have a choice here. What are the issues as you see them between the two of you?
I mean, the office of the property assessor, it's bound by laws and deadlines. Whoever gets in there is going to have to follow the rules. I mean, but the difference in me or another person is, when you're getting what you're getting with me is you're getting, I'm honest. I'm a hard worker. I watch taxpayer money. I don't overspend and try to stay within my budget. Sometimes you might have to move some money around, line item to line item, to cover cost of fuel or something like that. But I'm a taxpayer too, and I don't buy things unless I absolutely need them. And the goal every year is to return unspent money to the general fund, and that's one of the I like to watch taxpayer money is and I accurately give people the values and pick them up as soon as I can. I treat you the same as I would treat anyone else. I don't treat people different. You can go online and look at my property, my family's property, and you can look at your property, and it'll be the same. And I.
What about the 8 years you've had here, the experience? You feel that's certainly an important thing for people's consideration?
Oh yes. Being the assessor, you learn a lot pretty quick. Okay, when you first get in there, and you go to all these classes and trainings, and of course the comptroller's office helps you along the way. But we're always training, we're always getting better, and I'm a whole lot different now than I was 8 years ago. Of course, I know a little bit about everything there is to know about assessing, but I'm always still willing to learn. But you never stop learning, and I'm actually pretty comfortable now. It took me about 2 or 3 years to get comfortable in the job, but now that I've been there for 8 years, I want to continue to serve, and I love being the assessor.
All right, it's time for us to take a break. We're talking with Stephen Goodall, the assessor of property, running for re-election, and we'll talk more after this break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. Located at 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's got a little bit heavier the last few minutes. 65 southbound there at Trinity Lane, working your way down from the north. Had that car up against the wall a few minutes ago. On 40 going westbound there in Hermitage right near Stewart's Ferry. It's already busy through there right now. You got all that traffic coming in from Wilson County arriving there in the Hermitage. On 40 going west, starting to build even more now. 24 coming in from Murfreesboro towards Nashville. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck, you're on time traffic.
The cozy warmth after coming in from a chilly pink-cheeked morning walk. The perfect man cave temperature to kick back and watch the big game. When the weather turns cold, a new Rheem heating system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Feel year-round comfort with a new HVAC system installed by the pros at Randy's Heat and Air. We're the local team you can trust. Call Randy's Heat and Air today at 615-237-3604.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. We continue here on this Thursday morning, and we do have Stephen Goodall, who is running for re-election as property assessor. Now, your opponent here yesterday mentioned something about going from the reappraisal cycle from 4 to 6 year cycle to a 2 to 4 year cycle. Could we talk about that some this morning? I don't know a lot about this, but I know that we are required to have reappraisals, timely reappraisals within a certain period of time, and it takes as much property as we have, and with all the growth that we have, we're talking about it's almost a continuous thing, I think. But what about, is this a good idea, bad idea? What are your thoughts?
Well, the comptroller, last year brought a bill for more frequent reappraisals, and it passed the Senate unanimously, but it failed in the House. They never brought it to the floor, and when the 113th General Assembly adjourned, there was nothing. So it's not a law, but talking to the comptroller's office, if my office brings a reappraisal plan in front of them, several things have to happen. The county commissioner have to sign off on it, the county mayor, and if you go to a 3, they would all have to agree to it. The city mayors would have to agree to it. So it's not as easy as it sounds. But I have met over the last several months and working on. I have a plan that we're drawing up to do from a 5 to a 4, because when I met with the comptroller's office, I said, "What if I went to a yearly reappraisal?" And they said, "Yeah, that's not going to happen. Maybe eventually, one day, that would like to be our goal. But going from a 5 to a 1, you would have to hire so many more people. It would cost taxpayer money. You'd have to invest in technologies that we don't have."
Well, is there a point where it would not be cost effective?
Well, for the taxpayers, yeah. I mean, because you'd have to hire so many people to get it to a 1. Realistically, I think we will go to a 4, because the plan that I have in place, I think they'll get signed off on. Because they said, the comptroller's office told me, you can do from a 5 to a 4. We can make that work, and maybe even a 3 after that. Okay, and that would be my goal is to do a 3. But they said anything less than that, you'd have to hire a lot of people and it would cost a lot of money.
So you're not opposed to bringing it down?
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That it lessens the sticker shock, because you're hitting that market value more frequently. And even if you get to a 3 year, you can eliminate a sales ratio, and that would be great. But
what we're saying here is, rather than every 5 years, either every 4 or every 3 years,
right,
property would be reappraised.
Right. It would get closer to market value. And so a lot of people, we're at a 5 now, but we've grown so fast. So within that 5 years, your house stays the same, okay? And then in that 5th year, look at the values here, how fast they've went up in 5 years. So it's going to go up. So people, during that 5 years, they just kind of forget about it, and then all of a sudden they get a new evaluation, and they're like, "Wow, it went up so much." But really, it's just trying to get it back up to market value, and and if you do it more frequently, it just kind of stays closer to market value than gets so far away. It's the sticker shock's not as bad because the years are not as far away to make up for it.
Are you adequately staffed at this time? Fairly adequately staffed?
Yes, for our reappraisal cycle we have now, we're busy. We have work to do, but we get it done, and we've always got it done. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't ask for anything unless I need it. So the county commission, they've always been good to me, and they know that I don't go there every time that. I don't go there every year and ask for stuff, but when I do show up, I need it, and they usually give it to me. And that's one thing I try to do is, look, I work within my limits, but we get it done. I wouldn't let the county suffer for just to try to save money.
What about we are talking about a new court building, which is in the future apparently, and the things of the landscape, if you want to refer to it that way, at the courthouse has changed a little bit over the years. Every office is not exactly the same. What I'm getting at is, do you have adequate space right now? Do you need more space for and if you were going to add a few more employees, if you went to a 4 or 3 year cycle, what about space?
Yeah, I would need more space. I can make it work if it had to do. If someone, as me as a taxpayer, if they were going to say, "Hey, you can either do this or pay more taxes," I would probably work with what I have. But if there is another room or another space, I am pretty full right now down there. I have 2 rooms that we work with, but we manage it. We make it work. We're not hurting or anything. But if I added some more people, then yes, I would need somewhere to go. Yep.
You have some people who mostly are outside the office, right?
Yeah, I have a field office that drive around in cars and visit properties daily, adding new construction, field checks, whatever. Then I have a separate office that stay in and serve the public, answer phones, and people that come in the office.
What do you spend most of your time doing?
Well,
I mean, you're supervisor. You know what's going on.
Yep.
I feel sure in the office, the field people, those who are outside. But are you in the office more than you're out?
I am. Earlier on, I was out in the field because I wanted to actually go out there, and I'm more of a hands-on guy. So like when I would learn how to like do stuff, it was easier to go out there in the field and actually pull the tape and measure the houses with the guys and girls. And then once I learned how to do that, then I would come in and work on the computer. I look at sales on the computers. I draw houses myself sometimes. I just kind of, I don't know, I do everything except for personal property. Because Ken Sander from office, she's really good at that. I don't do the deeds. I know a little bit about mapping, but for the most part, I can draw houses, I can measure houses, and I know a little bit about every job. And I can't do every job, but I know a little bit about I just kind of.
How do you rate our property assessor's office with counties of comparable size and maybe the ones that are growing? When we're not the only county that's growing, but we're among the fast growers, I think.
Right. I mean, I would say we kind of are comparable to Williamson, maybe Rutherford, but Williamson, they just went through a 4-year reappraisal cycle, and we have about the same size as those guys. It's been said that Wilson County is the second richest county in the state, so we're doing pretty good. And I have a good relationship with the comptroller's office. I can give you an example. They told me that the comptroller's office told me that they told me I was one of the best assessors in the state, and they brag on my office like all the time. And one example, a few months ago, I got a call from the division in another county. It was Sumner County. They were changing over to some computer system that the division and the comptroller's office was using, and it's the same we use. And the comptroller's office was at a conference for the whole week, and they were unable to teach and train Sumner County how to use the program. So the comptroller's office, they called me and reached out, and they said, "Hey, we trust you, in the office," and they asked if it was okay if Sumner County assessor staff came to Wilson County for a few days, and if we minded training them. And so that made me feel pretty good that they trusted me in my office enough to train another county because they were too busy to do it. And so that right there shows me that, my office and I, we're doing a pretty good job. And if they can trust us to do it, then, I feel pretty good about that.
Well, we've already had a primary, so now we're headed towards a general election, and I don't guess we could say that the campaigning has started, but not as rapidly or in earnest as it will be mostly throughout the month of July. But what I'm wondering, what are you hearing from people? What are their concerns, or are they really concerned? The property assessor, if the property assessor's office is doing the job and everything, it's not one you hear a lot about, and probably not a lot of questions. The biggest thing is, am I going to have to pay more taxes? And you don't set the tax rate.
That's the main thing is people are really kind of confused what you do, and once you tell them, you're not going to raise my taxes, are you? And property assessments, the value of your home, what you have, like a deck, a swimming pool, a barn, that has a effect on your taxes. But once you explain to them that you don't, the tax rate set by the commissioners and how the government works, they really don't understand it until you say it. I mean, a lot of people do, but most people don't until you explain it to them. They're like, oh, okay, so. After you explain it to them, they're like, oh, well, are you going to raise my taxes? I was like, you got to explain it to them again, But, yeah, it's really confusing. But, yeah, it's one of those jobs. As long as you're doing your job, no one says anything.
Do you feel that overall the people of Wilson County are getting a fair shake, that people are paying, or are assessed at least at what their property is worth, generally speaking, that it's fair and above board?
Yeah, I mean, it's worked, all this time. The more frequent reappraisals, because Wilson County, it's grown so fast. You do miss out on some of the money, but that's why you have reappraisals. I mean, I can't take a house, and if it sells for way over what we have it assessed for, I can't automatically raise it up. I mean, it's called sales chasing, and the comptroller's office will slap your hand for that, and it's illegal. You can't sales chase. So if I have your house, for instance, valued at $100,000 and you sold it for $200,000, I can't automatically just raise yours to $200,000 during that reappraisal cycle. It has to stay the same. So like the farther you get away from reappraisal, the years is what I mean. It's going to be off, and then I have to get it back to market value. And then by the time the reappraisals gets here, your house that I have it valued for $100,000 and you sold it for $200 might be worth $400. Sometimes they sell 2 or 3 times within a reappraisal cycle, and I can't automatically raise it up.
Yeah. Stephen, we got a minute. I'm going to give you a minute to just wrap up and tell people why you should be reelected as property assessor for Wilson County.
Well, I've been honored to serve as the assessor for 8 years. I'm the only one in this race that's ever been an assessor, and let me tell you, Coleman, people can say what they want or what they would do if they get elected, but it's just different on the other side of the desk, okay? When your name's on the door, it's a little different. I have a great responsibility, and I'm grateful for every day that Wilson County voters have given me the opportunity to serve them. And I would be honored to continue to serve as your assessor of property, Wilson County. This is where I was born. I attended school, got married, raised my family, lived my whole life. My family and I would like to ask for your vote during the early voting, and if you're one of those guys or girls that wait till Election Day, I would like you to vote for me on August the 1st, and just to close out, please vote Stephen Goodall, Assessor of Property. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your visit, and we'll be doing election returns that night, and we welcome you to come out and be a part of that.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. That's it for a Thursday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.